Hello, this is Bear from Bear Wave. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, if you aren't, welcome back. Finally, today we're here with the Elliott Wave Course Part 2. You guys asked it for a long time, and finally we have our newest Elliott Wave tutorial course video. So this is the Part 2. So if you haven't already watched my previous video on Elliott Wave, where I go over the three main rules of Elliott Wave and explain it for beginners, I recommend to do so. Otherwise, it'll be more difficult to follow this video. So I'll leave a link in the description, and it should be popping up right now as I'm talking. So today, what are we going to do? First of all, we're going to start with one thing which I think is very important when you're doing your Elliott Wave count from scratch. Now, the count here is already showing up, but what do I want to show you? So first of all, correction of the same degree will tend towards equality in time or magnitude. What does it mean? I've said it many times, and I'll say even more. If you have an impulse and a correction, obviously you're waiting for another impulse, and you expect a correction of 1 degree to be similar to the correction of the same degree. What does that mean? Let me show you an example. Here we have this potential wave 2. Now we're gonna go in just a second on the argument that you guys could make. Well, how do we know this is wave 2 and wave 2 isn't like this, ABC? Well, that's a good point, and we'll cover that in just a second. But for now, let's just focus on this wave 2. If I'm saying this is wave 2, obviously I'm waiting for wave 3 and wave 4, which will come at some point, unless this is an ABC, which I doubt. So if I'm waiting for a wave 4, that wave 4, which would be this one, supercycle degree, would be pretty much as large as wave 2 of the same degree. So if I was to mark this up as a wave 3 completed, I would expect wave 4 to be pretty much of this size. One thing we can do, and we're going to go over it later on in the video, is we can use Fibonacci measurement to check for equalities or any other fib-related length relationships. So let's assume wave 3 could end at some point here. Then we could say that equality would be here, but even 61.8 could be a good place for a wave 4 position. With that being said, the same applies, as we know Elliott is fractal, the same applies to all different degrees. So 1 and 2, wave 3, and if, let's assume this count is correct, I would wait for a wave 4 to be nearly as large as wave 2. Now, because of the rule of alternation, which we know says that two corrections will alternate in shape. What does it mean? It doesn't mean that one has to be a zigzag and the other one has to be a flat. Now, once again, if you don't know what a flat or zigzag is, I recommend to go check out my previous video on Elliott Wave. So, if one is a zigzag, or a simple correction, something like this, very straightforward to a point, the market was in a rush to sell and then induce buyers into the market. The other one could most likely be more of a sideways movement, something like this. That's alternation. Now, with that being said, I would expect that to be indeed more of a sideways correction. Now, we covered equality, we covered alternation. Here you can look how I utilize this trend channel. Now, what is this trend channel? This is a simple Elliott Wave technique to estimate the end of a wave 4. Now, let's take this sub counts as an example. You have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there any way you could have estimated the end of this wave 4? Well, you could have taken the parallel channel tool on TradingView, but you can do any other platform that you prefer, and then connect it to the end of wave 3. Once you believe you have a wave 3 top, project it down onto the wave 2, and the touch of a trend line will give you potential estimate for wave 4, which, as you can see here, let me zoom in a little, wave 4 potentially ended here, but no matter what, we found support on every touch of that trend line. Now it's going to be interesting if this trend line is going to be broken on the base channel here to the downside. So basically, if we get something like this and we tested it, then potentially, obviously I'm just taking the NASDAQ example to show you guys the theory behind Elliott Wave, the rules I should say, and then we could see further downside. So with that being said, the trend line channel is important. Here I do the same thing, 1 and 2. So this is my potential top for wave 3, projected down to wave 2, and here we have a potential zone for wave 4. Now obviously wave 4, as I said, could take quite some time if it is eventually going to be sideways, so it could be a bit higher. Obviously the more right we move onto the chart, obviously the more time goes on. So that's again another technique, and we can do the same thing over and over again. We can do it here on this wave 1. The thing is, we don't have a wave 3 position yet. So that's something I want to show you guys in terms of additional Elliott Wave tools you can utilize in your everyday Elliott Wave count, and these apply onto lower time frames. So let's take NASDAQ once again. Let's go to the daily chart and let's see what could be happening. So here, as you probably noticed, I'm a bit bearish. Could the market have actually found a top here? Yes, it's possible. Has the market found a top? I do not know. However, being an Elliott Wave analyst, and what I'm gonna try to teach you right now is that you have to have alternates. Now, let's bring on the tool here where I have my multiple Elliott Wave counts. So this is a scenario. This could be wave A, up for B, down for C. This could be a leading diagonal into wave A. But what do we know? We know that leading diagonals can also be in one position. So this doesn't necessarily have to be wave A, but it could be wave 1. So as an Elliott Wave analyst, chartist, or trader, in my case, I'm all of them, I have to take into consideration that this could be a wave 1. So I need to have a count that says this is wave 1 and this is a potential wave 2. But could this be wave 2? And here I think is where most people say Elliott Wave doesn't work, because they would say this is wave 2, wait for downside, but then eventually the market moves higher. Now, here I think it's one of the things that I use most in my everyday trading. What do we know? We know that, let's assume even it's a wave B, because the example would be the same. So we know that a wave B has 3 subwaves, which are A, B, and C, obviously on 1 less degree. So we need to fix the degree, and as you know, I like to make intermediates red. So if we say that wave B ends here, which is possible, because what do we know? Here, another trick. If you didn't know, many times a move after a diagonal, in this case diagonal is to the downside, so the move up after a diagonal will end near the wave 2 of the diagonal itself, right here. And as you can see, we found resistance in this area and push lower. Now, that's not something I'm making up. If you notice, on all the diagonals you'll find, I would say at least 80% of the time, you get, in this case, is resistance, but you get some sort of support or resistance depending on where the trend is near the area of the wave 2 of the diagonal. So, moving on, I think many people would say this wave B completed and we wait for further downside. Now, the thing is, in trading, when you are trading, and obviously this is just for, I'm not saying that this is something you have to do, but this is something I do, and I'm just trying to make a video on it. Not saying you have to do it, obviously, guys. This obviously is not financial advice, so do your homework. This, many people will say, oh, this wave B, I'm looking for further downside. However, this move up looks like a one wave move. So what do you have? You have a move to the upside, which says, okay, if I'm expecting further downside, we like to sell high. Everyone likes to sell high. On the other hand, you also have additional confidence saying, well, we are near wave 2 of the diagonal, so we could get resistance there. We could short the market. And indeed, it moved lower. However, we're missing one thing. We're missing the fact that this could be just a wave A, and we do not have a clear three-wave move. So I would say that if we were to have also a three move, then I would feel safer. I would know that it would respect my strategy. And once again, this is my strategy. You guys might find something that's more suitable for yourself and see further downside. So that was just something I wanted to share. Let me know if it helped, and obviously if so, I will try to make a specific video on it, on perhaps how to trade using Elliott Wave. So with that being said, I'm just going to go on to another chart, which is a chart of Bitcoin, to show you how we're just doing the same thing on different time frames. So here I want to take you to the hourly chart. Let's see, what do we see? I just want to take a look at this naked chart, which obviously you could argue I've already charted, but this is something I would be doing anyway. So don't really think it's a point you can make. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, here, what would an Elliott Wave trader do? Well, what do we see here? Without zooming out, we see a potential Elliott Wave triangle. We see the market going up and down and just contracting itself, which in Elliott Wave terms refers to a triangle. So we see the market pushing higher, forming a potential triangle, so we know that there could be upside. What do we know though? We know that a triangle can only be in wave 4 or wave B position, because that's what Elliott Wave says. And if it is a complex, it could be a wave X. So could this be a wave 4? Well, I doubt it, because here I only have 3 waves. I don't see a 5-wave move. And obviously this couldn't be wave 4, because that would be a massive rule violation. Not only would it be invalidating and overlapping wave 1, but look at this wave 4. I just said in the beginning of the video that a correction of the same degree will tend towards equality in both time or magnitude. Does this wave 4 look anywhere near the wave 2 of the same degree? I don't think so. So this looks more like a wave A, a wave B, and then up for C. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that, let's assume I was able to identify this as wave B. I could have traded it. I knew that at some point after this high would have been broken, I could have gotten a move to the downside. So once this high was broken, as a trader, as an Elliott Wave trader, I should have been aware and immediately move my stop to break even. And after that, I have to be aware that the market could reverse anytime, and it's doing so. Now, what do we have here? If you pay attention, look what's happening. The market is contracting. Are we going to go higher, or are we going to move lower? Well, let's analyze it together, and maybe by the time this video will be posted, we'll have the answer. So what do we see? we know that this could be a three-wave move. Now, let's think about other scenarios, because as I said, an Elliott Wave traders always have multiple counts. So this could be a three-wave move. Now, let's assume we're wrong. Let's assume somehow this move right here, let me highlight it for you. This move is a wave 1. Could this be a wave 2? Well, what do we see? We see a move lower, pullback, downside, consolidation, sideways movement. So that's already 1, 2, 3. This could be wave 4, and then for the downside for wave 5. Now, we are seeing consolidation, sideways movement in wave 4. What do we remember? A wave 4 could be a triangle. So it makes sense. It fits the equation. 1, 2, down in 3, triangle in 4, down for wave 5. Degree is not important at the moment, so we could see further downside in Bitcoin. And I guess we'll find out by the time this video will be posted. So that was it for me today. As always, please let me know in the comments if you found this video of any help. If so, just let me know and I'll try to make more. As always, all I can ask you in favor is please subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any other updates I bring to Better Wave. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like. It really helps and it costs you nothing. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.